Tony, and 2 for George.
Hey, I need the 4 mics. I'm not loud enough. Thank you very much, Tony Hawk. Anybody here not know who Tony Hawk is? I didn't think so. I mean, this man created the 900. This man made the X Games a household name. This man, I mean, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, who here remembers that game as one of their first real video games they ever played? Hands up. I mean, really video games. I'll tell you, when they told me that you were an option, I was like, the only option is Tony F. and Hawk. Thank you so much for coming.
I feel like an optional character. Not way to explain it.
Not
like
at
you've
all.
been clicking through people and then I came up.
It's like celebrity Tinder.
Certain outfit that you chose to?
No. Thank you so much for joining us. Is this the strangest place you've ever done an event?
It's not, surprisingly, but it's great. You guys have transformed this building into a high-tech apartment, and if I lived in New York, I would want to live here. So thank you.
So a few questions I wanted to ask you. Percolating in my head for a while. Back in the 90s, early 2000s, licensed games were huge. I mean, other than Madden, no one thinks of a gaming personality quite like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Why do you think your games and your name became such a major influence on generations?
Well, first and foremost, I got to give it up for the game developers. I mean, they made something that was so fun to play and something that was fun to return to, even if you've already finished it, because like skating, you could do it in your own style, in your own voice, and you could sort of make up your own routines while still scoring and sharing with your friends. And I think that community aspect, but also just that freestyle element of our game was what really resonated with people. And there was a perfect storm brewing of X Games and interest in skating, and then we were right at the cusp of people getting interested in skateboarding or being curious about it. And then when they started playing our game, that's kind of when they got hooked. I mean, there's a whole generation of legitimate pro skaters that started skating because of that game.
Or people like me who could never actually land a trick, but I could do everything on Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Well, the scary thing is now, skating has come so far that a lot of those tricks that we thought were just fantastical and ridiculous are now real tricks that people are doing. If you watch someone like Magic Houston, he's so technical. It is literally like someone's controlling him with a joystick.
Yeah, no, absolutely amazing. Skateboarding back in the day was definitely a dangerous sport. Not just in the playing it just cops would come get you. It was kind of very punk rock. It was very radical.
I like how that's your version of danger.
I don't know. My mom tried to make me wear pads. I'm lame. So, look, it's going to be an Olympic sport this year. I mean, we're really going to see skateboarding become, even beyond X Games. Do you see esports today, which a lot of kids get made fun of for playing, but is actually real competitive gaming, the future of, is that the new extreme sport, so to speak?
I think it's a future for sure, and I see a lot of parallels between skateboarding and e-gaming because skateboarding was largely misunderstood. It was sort of stereotyped with outcasts and rebels, and people weren't really seeing the positive effects that skateboarding had on youth. And I feel the same way in video games, although that is beginning to shift as well, in that parents think the kids are wasting their time playing games. I always encourage my kids to play games. Well, a lot of it is because my income was based on it through their formative years. But also, I could see what it provided them and the connection they made with a lot of friends, and also how they learned how to program in a sense. In a lot of ways, and when you look at other games like Minecraft and things where you're actually building and creating servers, and I thought it was fascinating. And at some point, they surpassed my knowledge.
No, actually, I am more impressed with what some of the kids are doing today in programming on the gaming side, and I am even more in, computer design and graphic design for the past few years. It almost looks realistic, which is why, something like our Fios Gigabit is an awesome thing to be able to pump out all that great content. You've been doing this for 51 years. I mean, they've been talking about this, I think you're doing 50 tricks in 50 days, or I don't know if I'm completely wrong.
I haven't been skating for 51 years.
Okay.
I haven't been alive that long.
Just saying.
But
some people think
I started skating when I was
skateboard.
about 10 years old. And last year I released a video that was 50 tricks out 50, and it was basically 50 moves that I've created over the years. And in full disclosure, I wore the same outfit, but I did not do them all in one day. So it was the labor of about 6 weeks of trying to get these tricks. And I'm just proud. It's kind of like I reached a point where I was skating and largely made fun of for it because skating was not cool, believe it or not, when I was a kid. Like, that was the furthest thing from cool you wanted to do. I had to hide my skateboard in school so that I wouldn't get bullied, picked on, aka picked on. And then through the years, it was more of a curiosity. You know, you can't make a living skating. And then at some point I reached a point where it was like, oh, skating's big, video game was big, and then I kept skating, and then I reached a point where it was like, you still do that?
Yeah.
Aren't you too old for that? And I've actually crossed through that threshold, and now it's like, that's cool, he's 50, he can still skate. So at some point you come out the other side.
I was curious, you know, you could retire, right? I mean, like at some point, Tony Hawk, but you don't want to. You seem to just be good jumping on board every day.
I think I'll always skate. Maybe I won't always do it in public. If I feel like my skills are fading, I won't be, want to be the old guy out there like, oh, that poor guy. He's still trying.
It's not that bad. I mean, you're still the biggest name in pro skating, so we love having you. One final question: what advice do you have kids getting into skateboarding or gaming today? What advice do you have for them?
I think my best advice is to keep challenging yourself. Like, no matter how far you get in whatever you choose to do, keep finding new ways to do it, keep challenging yourself, and keep evolving how it is, because at some point you're only as good as your last move or your last big trick or your last big win. And so I think that kids today have to really find their own voice, and especially if they're doing stuff like, if they're being YouTubers, if they're choosing something that is a creative outlet, you've got to do it in your own path and not just follow some sort of cookie cutter way of doing it, because then you'll just be forgotten. And you got to stand out, and unique is great, and I think that's the lesson I learned through all these years, is doing something different is awesome, and doing something because you love it is the most rewarding.
So we have 5G. Our 5G network is huge right now. Everybody, love our 5G network. I was thinking of like a 5G trick you could do, and I got a name first. We figured out the trick later, but the Verizon 5G 2000. How awesome does that sound?
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Just spin.
I feel like the trick would happen faster than what you say it is.
Yeah, and faster you can download Gleam in the Cube in HD 4K. Thank you so much, Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here. Please eat, play Stadia, check out what we have to offer, talk to us. We love having you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.